Hello and welcome back to another week here at Heroes and Hooligans, where we are playing Gilded Destinies. Uh, Last week we had a wild amount of things happen in a very short amount of time and learned quite a bit about this city and the people and places therein. Coca-Cola, would you like to summarize for us?
Sure. So when we got to Revan, I remembered miraculously, because I'm a genius, that I have family here, right? So me and my friends were sitting around having some evening snacks, aka liquid pork chops, and decided, hey, my grandpa lives here, and maybe we could stay with him. We'll get ourselves established here. So the next day, Jillian and I went to see my dear old granddad, and the gents went off to handle the more business side of things. When we went to visit my grandpa, he told us a bunch of interesting family information that I hadn't really been privy to, and also mentioned that he's pretty cozy with the mayor who comes once a week and helps him in the apiary gathering honey and such. He agreed to let us stay with him while we are in Revan getting established and building our new business. So we'll be doing that. And we also got some coin from him to purchase things to fill the larder and such. The guys, they went to City Hall to find out about what buildings were available for purchase or rent or whatever, and we got a couple of options from there. And they also talked a little bit about the wyvern problem and their compensation program that they have for people who slay wyverns. Apparently, there's a gentleman named Fetherick who comes in once about every 3 days to bring in a wyvern heart, and he gets one platinum piece per wyvern heart, which is a fairly decent amount of money for most general people living in this area. So it seems to be quite the lucrative trade for himself. So we maybe have some conspiracy swirling around that. But there's a tower that needs repairs, and then there's an outpost north of town. Outpost north of town in pretty good condition, doesn't need as many repairs. It's just kind of sitting vacant. Where the tower is in the historical district and requires a bit more TLC to get it up and operational, though it does seem to be in a very prime real estate position for what we wish to build in the future in Revan. So we did that. We came back together. We met up. We talked about the things that we did. Decided we were going to go meet with the mayor, Mayor Brightfoot, the next day, and also maybe pick up some spare work for the Iron Gut Meadery, which is currently managed by the city, even though it's owned by my family. Very weird situation. Some chess pieces in the wrong places for me in my mind, and that I don't really like it a lot. But Iron Gut Brewery may become an essential playing piece for us to build what we're wanting to build here in the future as well with the rail line. So I think that's pretty much everything. If I missed anything, somebody else can let me know. But I think that's pretty close to all of it.
Sounded good to me. I think you covered just about everything. So we will jump back in. You have placed your order to fill Grandpa's larder, gathered your party once more, shared your information. What is your next step as you stand here in town having just placed the order? Do you want to head back and try to start setting things up at your grandfather's? Do you want to go up to the meadery, look for some work?
Well, what do you think, gang? What do you think we should do? Do you think we should jump right into getting to work, or should we go get cleaned up and set up at my grandpa's? Since we're going to meet the mayor in the morning, he just lives right up the road from my grandpa's house anyway, so it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. So either way, we're going back there. It just depends on really how dirty you want to get your hands before we get some rest for the evening. It's only, what, about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, would you say, Chip?
Yeah, probably about 2:30.
Yeah, we got a pretty early start to the day to get all of our business handled. So, yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think, guys? What do you want to do? Do you want to go by the meadery, see what the situation is over there, kind of figure out, some of that? My cousin did say come on by, and maybe they got something we could have for a snack,
We could definitely do that.
Yeah,
We
let's
don't
head to the meadery.
Yeah, we don't have a ton of belongings, and our room is paid for now, so they'll be fine there for until it's time for us to go. As long as we get on the road before it gets dark, though, because I don't want to be out walking the streets and the roads in the dark after last time getting attacked by some pine trees and their pissed off needles. I don't want to roll into that again. That's not very exciting.
Yeah, so you begin to make your way through town. Are you heading to the meadery offices, or do you want to head to the brewery portion?
I don't think my cousin was really very specific when she said come see me at the meadery. So
I'll say make an intelligence check if you want to try to guess where your cousin would be at the meadery.
intelligence, flat intelligence. I'll give you that.
Or insight.
Insight. Let's see, what's my insight modifier? +2. Okay, yeah, so it's the same. So I got a 13.
13. You're thinking about it, and from the way your cousin described her job to you right now, where she's more promotional, you think she probably works through the offices most often. Doesn't really get her hands on the meat itself very much.
Yeah, I think I'd like to go to the office, but I'd like to take my friends to the office via the main floor of the meadery so they can kind of see what it looks like. I haven't been there since I was a kid, but it'd be kind of cool to be like, yeah, check this out, and then go up whatever stairs are on the inside that connect to the main offices instead of go from the outside.
So the main offices and the brewing halls are two separate buildings. The brewing halls are set off into the forest of the mountains a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. It does make a little bit of sense. Yeah, okay.
There's a couple of offices there, like your grandfather had his office there running the company, as did his father and his mother, and his grandmother, and so on before him. The clan leader, basically the company president, usually works out at the brewery.
Yeah, so I think we'll just stop in, peek in, just to do a little look around before heading up to the office then, if they're not connected.
Yeah, cool. So you do swing a little bit out of town here. It's only like a 10-minute walk outside of town if you're cutting off the path and through the trees, which I would guess would probably be the path that young Coca-Cola would have taken with her cousins. So you make your way up to the meadery, come out of the brush, and see large iron wrought gates leading into what looks like a single slab of stone carved out into a massive wall. And the gates are not locked. You're able to open them and move on through. When you do, you see a stone building about 4 stories high. But you know from being inside at Coca-Cola that each floor takes up about 2 regular stories worth of space from the massive brewing vats inside. You head on in and are able to make it up to the entryway of the brewery without any conflict or anything, where you see 2 stout dwarves walking out with shovels and pickaxes in hand. Make me an insight with advantage, Coca-Cola. Jillian, do you think you ever came with Coca-Cola to visit her family up here?
Probably.
Yeah. Go ahead and make me an insight with advantage as well.
Okay.
The rest of you.
We were teenage dirtbags at one point in our lives. Of course, we were at the meadery.
Yeah. The rest of you can go ahead and make perception checks for me.
Did you say insight?
Yeah, insight for Jillian and Coca-Cola, perception for everyone else.
18 if it's not in direct sunlight.
Cool.
10 for the Reznor.
12 for Jillian.
All right. What was it for you, Coca-Cola? Still rolling?
No, I got a 15.
15? All right.
Yeah.
And Jolly, are you making a perception, or is Jolly just kind of chilling out?
Sorry, I made an insight.
Oh, okay.
Perception, yes. Pretty much the same
Okay.
roll.
Yeah, if it's the same modifier, you can just go ahead and do that.
Well, I feel like I was cheating.
All right.
Yeah. 14 for an insight, 21 for a perception.
Okay. So Zenlin and Jolly, you both notice that they bear the same crest that Coca-Cola has on her new patch on a little little leather strap on their belts. Jillian, these people look familiar to you, but you don't remember names or anything offhand. And Coca-Cola, you recognize at least one of these, probably both are some of your cousins. The younger brothers of the cousin you met earlier, who are being called to go dig Grandpa's cellar.
Yeah, that makes sense why they would have the pickaxes and shovels since they're going to go dig the new larder.
They see you as coming up, and yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I don't know if I necessarily would have like straight up approached them, but if they acknowledged us, then I would return the acknowledgement.
Yeah, they see you as you're coming up, and they don't seem to recognize you on sight, but they do greet you kindly. Oh, couple of visitors. If you're here for a tour, you just have to desk on the left.
Cousins Killy and Philly, nice to see you again. No, actually, it's me, Coca-Cola. I haven't seen you in 100 years, and I'll point to my fancy patch. And I'll say, no, I'm just heading up to the office with my friends here to do some work for your sister. There's some tea cakes in the pantry, or in the order for the pantry that's going out to Grandpa's where you're about to go dig. Anyways, but do me a favor and throw those ration bars in the trash while you're at it.
Well, we'll probably give them to someone. Someone could use them, but we'll take them away from him. How about that? That work?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, he can't be eating that anymore. I'm surprised he's not all backed up and stuff, because that's just like chewing on a brick.
I mean, to hear him tell it, that was a pastime when he was a baby, so...
Dwarves, am I right?
Dwarves.
But anyway,
yes, Coca-Cola, it's very good to see. And yeah, you remember where the office is, yes? Second floor on the left?
Yep. We're headed up there now.
Yeah, head on in.
And I'll wave and do whatever kinley crap dwarves do when they walk away from each other and take my friends upstairs.
Yeah, they got their arms pretty full here, so they just kind of give you a little wave with their hands. And you head on in. It is bustling in here. The second you step through the doors, you see gnomes and dwarves running to and fro. There's shouting, but it all sounds like it's the workplace just going on. And you smell just pure sweet honey. The air is full.
It's probably like sickly sweet from.
Oh yeah, it's
being
like
cooked and all of that.
Have any of you ever walked into a field of poppies? That overpowering sweet stench.
Yes, the one time I was on an adventure with my friends skipping down the yellow brick road, we ended up in a field of poppies and took a long nap.
Look, I didn't check my metaphor there.
No, not in the real world, no, but I do know that what you're talking like the sickly sweet. Like it's just that
like-
clean honey to the like it sticks to the air.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The air does feel thicker in here a bit. And some of that might be the steam that's being let off of vats as they're being opened for the quick press mead. But no one really seems to notice you at first, and the few people you do see glance over at you seem to look at the emblem Coca-Cola is now wearing and just nod and be like, okay, that makes sense.
So I'll just point out some stills and some vats of honey and show them where they keep things and where the bottles are sanitized with a massive prestidigitation spell, and then head up to the office.
Yeah. Coca-Cola, would you go ahead and look at your equipment for me? It has been about 2 hours since you met with your grandfather at this point, and I'm gonna consider that as counting as a short rest for the purposes of attunement here.
Oh, is there something here? Let me refresh this page. Well, what do you think of the meadery, friends? It's pretty nice, isn't it? Oh, there we go.
Smells offensive.
It smells offensive.
I mean, it's just like really strong. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, it's Iron Gut mead, the strongest and best mead in all of the whole world.
I mean, I expected to taste it when I drank it, not when I smelled it.
About 10 of the workers overhear you saying that, Coca-Cola, and just stop what they're doing to look at you and say, "And up with Iron Gut!"
Yeah, and I'll give him a good old Klingon up with Iron Gut. Oh, fancy. My patch is fancy. I like it.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Jolly. And yeah, Coca-Cola, you feel a little buzz of energy as you realize this patch is acting on you magically. Do you act on that in any way?
I don't know if necessarily anything in this moment requires me to act on it, but at some point, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Jolly, you notice Coca-Cola's patch gleam with a little bit of silvery light,
Right.
and it draws your eye. She told you about it earlier, and it's just kind of been percolating in the back of your mind. You're not a dwarf yourself. You're not 100% up on all the cultural norms and all that, but you do know that a silver patch is usually reserved for a clan heir, whereas members of the clan will wear bronze and the current head will wear gold. And you realize that it was gold until just now.
It was bronze until just now?
No, it was gold until it finished attuning to Coca-Cola.
Oh. Interesting.
Coca-Cola, you would know that it was gold when your grandfather ripped it off and gave it to you.
I think I would consciously be mulling it over that it's silver, knowing what silver entails, but not necessarily drawing attention to it because it's already been a lot of like throwing the Iron Gut name weight around, and I don't want to do that any more than I have to.
100%. You don't want to go from relying on one name straight to relying on another.
Right. Like it's an honor, right? Like I'm honored that my grandfather would give me his personal patch and that it belongs to me now. But at the same time, like I'm trying to break away from the Kundarak name, and being an Iron Gut is fine. I just would like to earn my keep with them, which is why I'm keen to do some work at the meadery, because not that I have schemes in the back of my head ever. I would never, ever do such a thing, but
Not that
working
kind of
at
rogue
the
business.
meadery could come to pass as something, bring something more to fruition in the future, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you would never have schemes. You're not that kind of rogue.
I'm not. I'm definitely not that kind of rogue. Oh,
You might be that kind of fighter.
I might. But yeah, no, like I'll just, take my friends up to the office. I will be thinking about it because it's important to me personally, but Zenlin's from the other side of the world. He probably don't give two shits about iron gut family hierarchy. I'm not trying to drag them all through the mud there either.
Yeah, 100%. As you make your way into the office, you come up to the door, big oak door, stone framing, of course, and you can hear muffled speaking through it. It sounds like two people having a conversation. And it does sound a little bit heated. No one's screaming, but someone's agitated.
I think I would
you like to listen
definitely
in?
listen in beforehand. Thank you.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
And if any of my companions are better at the listening skill, I don't know, maybe somebody that turns into an animal, I would offer them a nice assistance if they wanted help.
Give me a second, looking that up.
I'm gonna do a light detect thoughts.
Okay. You cast detect thoughts.
Surface thoughts at first. Not gonna probe
Alright.
too deep.
Side note, Dogman does not have improved hearing.
You reach out to grab the surface thoughts of the creatures in the office, and you grab a lot of thoughts about like upping production. How are we going to meet this demand? How do we not oversupply while still how do we maintain our presence as a luxury product in the outside world while meeting the demand that there is for it? But basically, they're thinking about scale of the operation on both sides.
Good.
I'm not perceiving anything. I only rolled a 6.
Oof.
You're perceiving you're in a meadery right now.
Pretty much, right? I'm distracted.
Yeah, you're overwhelmed by the smell. Like, when you see a light so bright that it makes it hard to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. But yeah, they continue to speak, and after about 2 or 3 minutes, the voices die down, and you hear what sounds like people exchanging their goodbyes.
I think right before somebody walks towards the door, I would push it open so it didn't look like we were eavesdropping.
Yep. Okay. So as you start to hear them say their goodbyes, you push the door open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you just push the door open, and inside you see a person about 5'5", flaxen hair, pointed face, and very svelte figure, who is standing on the same side of the main desk as you, talking to what appears to be a shifter sitting at the desk, who is who is saying their goodbyes. They both turn to look at you, and the man behind the desk speaks. Can I help you?
Oh, yes, friend. I am Coca-Cola Iron Gut, and I am here to speak with my cousin about doing some work. My friends and I doing some work around the meadery.
Everyone give me an insight, or give me your passive insights, unless you're actively like trying to catch this guy's vibe already.
11.
Jolly,
I'm
you still got
definitely
detect
trying to
thoughts up?
catch. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to catch vibes.
Jolly, with your detect thoughts, you catch this guy's surface thoughts of. I'll give you advantage on the insight, and then I'll tell you what you catch there. How about that?
Okay, sure.
Or you can make an insight check, and if you beat a 15, I'll give him disadvantage for you to probe.
Got a 17
Deeper.
on the old
All right,
insight.
cool. Do you want to try to probe deeper? I'll give him disadvantage on the saving throw.
No, I don't. I want him to trust us.
Okay, cool. All right. So
I'm trying to present this as like actively listening.
Yeah, you immediately notice, and anybody who beat a 15 immediately notices that his eyes narrow in on that patch as you introduce yourself as a Iron Gut previously unknown to him.
He can narrow in all he wants.
And then Reznor, with your 17 in the detect thoughts, you also catch that he, or not Reznor, Jolly, you catch that he glances at Reznor with that 17 in detect thoughts. This is not the mayor. The mayor is a gnomish man.
Yeah, this is the person who's done all the work. Probably feels like they should inherit this business.
Yeah, you clock that this is probably the manager that Cocola's cousin was speaking about earlier, that the city's put in place, the shifter behind the desk.
I see.
You're still unsure who they're speaking to. The flaxen-haired being.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like push him after telling him. Like, we told him what we're here for. Let him finish his formalities and then go from there.
Well, let's introduce ourselves to the flaxen-haired person.
Half elf, you would guess. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. You were. We're just finishing up. Yes. I'll see you. I'll see you later, Spheric. It has been a pleasure as always. Spheric is the flaxen-haired person, the half elf.
Okay.
And they go to leave the room.
Both of them.
No, Spheric does.
Spheric. Okay.
The who you presume is the manager is still seated behind the desk. Oh, well, come, find a place to sit or stand, and we'll talk about finding you some work then.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, my name's Coca-Cola, and I'll stick out my hand to shake hands with him. What's your name, friend?
Oh, Grare.
Like the cheese?
Like no, like Grare, like gray, but with an R instead of a Y.
Very nice.
Like the sound a dying wolf makes as it tries to get its last bite in.
That's graphic, but good to meet you. I would have liked if you would have said you were named after cheese better. These are my friends, and I'll let them introduce themselves because they're all grown up.
Yes,
I'm
who would I be?
Jolly. I couldn't be more excited to be here. I've heard about this place my entire life. I worked many years on the lightning rail. We served Iron Gut, small batch. I know you know this to be true, and it's such a pleasure to be here. It's amazing. I am just such a fan of what you've got going on.
Oh, well, that's quite kind of you. Thank you. I'm glad you're a fan if you're going to be working with us. You know, company culture is a very important part of the workplace.
It is so important, and it's just one of those delightful, you only need a little bit and you savor it. It's not like that rot gut nonsense that people are throwing back pint after pint. This, it's a treasure. It's a treasure.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you think so. Ms. Ironguts, are your friends looking for contract work or more permanent employment? Because we are in need of some labor at the main apiary if they're looking for full-time employment. But as far as contract work goes, I'm sure I could scrounge up some odd jobs.
The apiary out at the Iron Gut Farm?
Well, no. Your grandfather's apiary we now use for our private batch, which is only sold. Yes, it's only sold directly to those who with the means to afford it. No, we have a more, shall we say, industrialized apiary to the south of town.
To the south of town.
Yes.
Would we have passed it coming in since we came into Revan from the south? Would we have come through this?
So you would have passed vaguely by the area it's in,
Okay.
but the road up into Revan, there is a private road that leads from the meadery to this new apiary that you would.
I was just curious if it was something that we would have noticed passing through or not.
No, it's sort of the idea of, well, you came from the southwest into
Fair.
Revan, and then it's the idea of what's south when you're up. When you're up is also just down.
That's fair. That's fair. The main apiary wouldn't be too bad. You said you don't have much in the way of contract work, or you do? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sure we could scrounge up some odd jobs. It just wouldn't be quite as steady. But that's contract work for you. It'd be the things that we need to get to, but don't really have anyone to get to. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So what if we did a little bit of both, like took on the contract work and did a few things, like one or two of the contract jobs a week, and then still helped out at the main apiary to have something more stable to fall back on?
I mean, if you think you could fit the time in, then that'd be wonderful.
Well, there's 7 days in a week. Well, some places there's even 8 days in a week, depending on how they break up their hours. But there's 7 days in a week. We got plenty of time. Most of us are still young, and I think Jolly's still ready to work.
Most of us are still young.
2 more months.
The shade. Jolly's ready to work for 2 months, and that's it.
He doesn't need to know that. This shifter manager guy doesn't need to know that.
No, I know. But yeah, he seems excited by your offer to both do contract work and just work a job. Well, of course, we'd keep a member of the family here in here in the offices or in the brewery. Do you have a preference? Or, we've been looking for a new overseer at the apiary.
Supreme Overseer Coca-Cola. It has a nice ring to it. I could dig it. But I want to be where my friends are. So wherever they're most comfortable, that's where I'd like to be.
All
And it's
right,
not like I
well,
don't boss around. It is.
Seems like it probably runs in the blood, huh?
Probably so.
And as you say that, you think back to all the little ways of like family management that your father had, and you're like, oh yeah, no, he did kind of run the family like it was a like happy business.
Right.
Maybe it is in the blood.
Well, what do you think, friends? What do you think about this? I don't want to make decisions on behalf of all of you. If you're all comfortable with such arrangements, then I also am.
I mean, at least temporary, but I mean, we weren't permanently staying here.
Right, of course.
All right. Well, I will say we're not really looking for like seasonal help at the apiary. It'd be a long-term job, so we could perhaps bring you on as dock workers. Transporting things from one site to the other. That's fairly easy to replace rather than losing a, trained beekeeper. And then, you could do your contract work on the side.
That would be fine with me. Is that fine with you guys? I don't mind working at the docks.
I'm just curious
Well,
why you don't have people working at the docks.
Oh, we have some people working, but lighten the load. We want everyone to be happy and not be, pushing themselves too far. A happy worker is a productive worker.
I mean, that is a fair.
We even instituted mandatory days off.
Well, aren't you progressive? What a progressive
Thank
work
you.
model.
We like to think so. Yes, no one works more than a 12-hour shift, and no one's allowed to work more than 3 shifts in a row, and everyone gets 1 day off a week minimum. 2 sick days a month, too.
And what, not to cut to the meat of it or anything, but what does the pay look like?
For a dock worker, well, you'd probably be... I'm going to be quite blunt here. You'd be your squad supervisor if you were all working together, just because we can't put a member of the family in, just an entry-level job. How would that look?
I mean, it would look like I worked hard for my position just like anybody else in this meadery that's not part of the family has.
Sorry, anti-nepotism makes me smile too much for this moment. Well, I suppose if that's what you want, yes, we'll put you all in a dock working squad. Pay is 1 silver a week.
Each?
Each. Yes, of course, each.
Wow, that's handsome. That's a whole 4 silver a month.
Yes.
I'm just curious, how many cases of Iron Gut do we move per week?
Yeah.
Oh, let me pull my books out. And he pulls a logbook about this thick out, thumps it on the desk, pages it to about halfway through. Looks like we're moving about this season. You'd be loading and unloading about 500 boxes between the 5 of you each day.
What is the market price on a box?
Market price is what we sell it for. Because,
Very
when you
good
buy it at
question.
the market, they upmarket quite a bit.
Right.
And,
I would like to know
market
both.
market prices vary all the time. And,
Sure.
things just it's an unpredictable market right now, especially with
Right.
the fluctuations in supply and demand. So I've seen iron guts sell for as little as 5 copper for a bottle.
I've never seen that. But you've got a logbook, so you know averages, right? Your business is averages.
Yes.
So a box of iron
Look, I
gut.
can't. I understand. I'd be happy to answer these questions for Ms. Irongut in private, but you are a stranger who doesn't
Oh,
work
this is
at
my
Guild.
financial advisor, actually. Jolly is my financial advisor because I'm new to being out on my own. I wanted to be able to go into the world making smart financial decisions. So if you're comfortable discussing it with me, then I full well sign my HIPAA form for you to discuss it with Jolly as well. And Jillian, she's a member of the Iron Gut family by proxy, and so are Zenlin and Resnor. So they're all capable of listening.
You all see that the moment you say financial advisor, his face drops. He's like, oh fuck, I'm not going to be able to bullshit here. These people are going to get a fair wage one way or another. Well, you know what? I think I might have had a miscalculation there. We'll actually be able to pay you 5 gold a week for the lot of you.
Well, I'm sure that's fair, but I guess my question was my question. So I asked the question.
We make approximately 20 to 25 gold pieces on a case of iron gut mead.
On a case. And we move 500 per week.
500 a day between the lot
A
of you.
day. Great. Okay, that's great. This is fantastic.
But
So
mind you, that's just
25
unloading it. That's just unloading
I
it from
get-
one
I get-
cart and loading
from-
it onto the next.
Sure. So your sale price is 25, right? Now, does that include
Yes.
the transportation cost?
No, that's the total sale price. That doesn't include
So,
transportation costs, cost of making it, paying our workers,
so
paying our
what's
workers'
the
healers.
transportation? Right. What's the transportation cost on average?
5 to 10 gold, depending on where we're transporting to.
Right. Good. And how do we normally transport?
Well, it depends on where, but if it's across a land route, we transport by cart. We have sent some downriver out to the sea and then sailed around, but that's a bit more costly. So it is a bit faster, so we are able to charge a bit more there.
So 5 to 10 gold pieces of the 25 are transportation.
Yes.
Right. And how much is labor in that?
I'd say labor probably makes up about 50% of our costs.
Yes,
So
that makes sense.
So labor's about 12 silver.
12, and so
Or 12 gold. 12 gold. That's on me.
great. So that leaves, let's say, 12, worst case scenario, 12 gold on labor, 10 gold transportation. What are the other costs?
Just incidentals, if a batch gets lost,
Yep.
Things like that.
But we're profitable.
If I'm being honest with you,
Yes.
only thanks to scale.
I agree. I agree with you. And if we could reduce, we can't reduce labor costs. I think you're exactly right. You said you pay a fair wage, and I think you're exactly right. Labor costs are what they are. That is the lifeblood of this economy. But if we could reduce transportation costs and scale, I think you're right. I think you've got a very good mind for business. I think our big opportunity might be transportation cost.
I
If
I
there was
agree with you there.
only-
We've been
if
trying
only
so many
a
different
way.
ways.
I agree.
I tried to convince the mayor to authorize us purchasing one of those airships that they're making now, so we could use that for transportation.
Great idea. Great idea. Oof, if it were to crash, that would be something. But an airship, yeah, that would be one
no.
possible way. Wait,
No,
so
that's exactly what Mayor Brightfoot said. What if it crashes?
so 500 boxes per day, 10 gold pieces per box, and transportation costs. Those are big numbers. That means, we're losing, well, we're spending 50 platinum. Is that my math? 50 platinum per day in transportation. These are big numbers, aren't they? Oof, big numbers.
That's accurate.
Big numbers. And we're going to pay a fair wage to our people. It's the lifeblood of this economy, isn't it? And
It is. If we didn't pay our people, they wouldn't be able to buy our.
I totally agree. And management fees. How much would you say that is?
Well, that's not that much, I make my cut out of the profit. I make
so you make a percentage of profits.
I make 20% of gross profits.
Wow. So we don't pay you a salary. We pay you. Do you own this business?
No, I'm contracted by the city.
But you're paid your contract. How long is your contract?
My contract is for the next 3 years, pending the family taking back management rights from the city, of course.
Sure.
In which case I would have to renegotiate with the new management.
That makes sense to me. And I'm sure there's some sort of buyout where you'd be handsomely paid if they were to buy you out of your contract.
Yes. Well, I have a guaranteed pay from the city.
Oh, what's that?
So if I'm incapable of fulfilling my full contract for any reason other than my own failure, essentially, as long as I have maintained profitability, even by 1 gold piece, I get paid 500 platinum pieces guaranteed.
Wow.
A year.
And you were offering us a silver piece per week?
That's the standard pay rate for a dock worker.
I believe he said something a little bit better once he realized we were being financially advised.
He did. I wonder how many people got the better deal versus the silver piece deal. It's so let me divide 500 platinum by 1 silver. So 5 gold. So you were paid hundreds of times more than an employee, and you're just an employee. But as an employee, you're paid hundreds of times more than other employees here. So you must not get a guaranteed day off then.
No, I don't get any guaranteed time off.
No, so you don't take any time off ever.
Well, I've taken time off when there's the opportunity, but it's not much.
I see.
I'm lucky to get 7 full days a year.
How many days?
7 full days a year.
Well,
Everyone else gets 52.
You do work hard. It seems like you really do work hard.
Well, you did say you needed some help here in the office. What kind of help is that?
Oh my. Well, honestly, after speaking to your companion, uh, Jolie, would you like a job here in the office, checking the books?
I think I would love that job. Yes.
Wonderful. Ms. Irongut, I was thinking that I would have you work directly alongside me in risk assessment and decision making.
Well, I would like to propose a solution to you having so much on your shoulder. My lovely cousin, she really enjoys being a part of the family business, and she really is doing okay with the promotions, but I have this feeling that she would really enjoy taking my place at your side and learning some more things around here. It would do well to see more Iron Gut family members hands-on as the next generation sort of steps up into a place where we're in position to possibly buy back the meadery or take the meadery back under control from the city.
Give me persuasion with advantage.
Persuasion advantage. Wow. 17.
17. You know that's a very good idea, and honestly, the promotional position was an edict from Mayor Brightfoot, but I don't really see the need to advertise Iron Gut Mead in Revit.
Yeah, of course. And she's grown up here and had her hands in the honey of the meadery since she was just a dwarfling. So who better to be at your side than somebody with pre-existing knowledge of the way that this company already functions?
You make a very good point.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of...
I will have to run it by the mayor. Executive promotions do have to have his signature. If we hired you, that wouldn't be a promotion, though, would it?
No, it wouldn't be. So I'm actually my financial advisor and my team here, we're actually meeting with the mayor tomorrow. So I'll have a little talk with him also. And
oh, well,
it'll make it easier.
Well, can you, when we're finished with our conversation, if you'd like to wait for just a moment, I'll prepare the paperwork and you can bring it along for him to sign.
Yeah, that's great. Make sure you put an upstanding letter of recommendation and how you would love to work next to my cousin in that stack of paperwork.
I can do that.
Bat my fucking eyelashes at him in the most borderline creepy manner you've ever seen.
Yeah, this is Reznor as a shifter. You're like, oh, she's that is a threat. And you see him go into a little bit of a. He's not intimidated, but there is a little bit of a threat response there. He's like, he's submitting in a way. He's like, yeah, you're the top dog. I'm not going to say it out loud yet, but you are.
What color is his patch?
His patch is white and is sewn from fabric instead of being made of metal.
So it's like an honorary clan associate level patch, right? Somebody
you would recognize the white. You would recognize the white patches as being anyone who works for the family.
Okay. Yeah, so above the bar here, it's mostly this conversation mostly involves me wanting her in another position because I have two lines of thought process going on here. One, I think I had mentioned previously that I believe the mayor is trying to assume total control over the meadery, and which is why he's so buttered up, juicy buddy with my grandfather. And being able to have more Iron Gut hands at the top of the helm will make it less easy for him to pull the rug out, so to speak. And also, I cannot stand when men in the corporate world put a woman in a fluff position just so, like, it could say, we met our diversity quota. We have a woman that works here. Like, she's got a brain. She's been there her whole life. She deserves to be a part of something rather than running a bullshit position and handing out marshmallows on the weekend saying, come to the meadery. We have the best mead. We know, we live here. So that's really the point of the conversation, not necessarily to enact the nepotism, but more like, hey.
No, I
Oh,
got you.
for sure. I was
I
just
got
making jokes.
No, I'm just saying,
I
like, that's the mindset, right? Like,
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you on that.
down to the fucking patriarchy in every way possible.
Yeah, I will say from his point of view, a Iron Gut family member he didn't know existed walked in here with the patch saying, hey, I own this place next.
Pretty much, essentially. But hey, it's been really nice to meet with you. Gruyere, not Gruyere like the cheese, though cheese and mead do go really well together. Just a little sour apple, some garlic flavored crisps. Perfect. Anyways, it's been lovely to do business with you. Thank you for writing up the paperwork and providing us with opportunity. If you could also just put in writing the terms of our employment at the dock and contracting and what each contract would pay, if it's like a lump sum or whatever, that would be lovely to have on hand. So that way there's no miscommunications or any things with the books, since Jolly's going to be handling the books anyways. That'll be lovely. Yeah. You're very pleasant to speak with. Thank you for being so open and receptive to my compatriots and I here.
All right. And he goes ahead and fills out all that paperwork for you. Each of you, I'm going to tell you right now, none of your contracts are fucked with in any way. They guarantee reduced rent in any Iron Gut properties. Like if you want to live in any of the apartments that they own, basically, or houses that they own, and they, guarantee your pay as long as you show up for work each day and meet your quota.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
You will be paid daily as well, so it's a day wage. You work for a day, you get your silver, or you get your gold piece now at the end.
Okay, perfect. That looks great. So if nobody else has anything they want to do here at the meadery, I think we can go, put our things at the farm and prepare for the meeting tomorrow, because I think there's some things that we need to discuss moving forward, given the information that we've picked up here.
All right. All right. Do you want to go ahead and head out? And where specifically did you want to head?
Oh, does anybody else have anything that they think we need to do or they want to do before we go?
Nope.
Nope.
No, I think it's been a pretty productive day for the future of the trading company. So
right.
yeah, we'll head back to the farm. I'll show my friends around. I want to stop at that little market. I don't need to do all the pleasantries and stuff. I'll just take the money from my bag. I want to stop at the little market and get one of those chocolate oranges for my grandpa.
Yeah. Who were the masons that could be hired? They were expensive to rebuild
Rockborough.
The tower.
The Rockboroughs.
Rockboroughs.
Yep, I even have that written down. I just didn't write anything next to it. Good job, Julie.
Here's what I'm thinking. This guy's got a contract that essentially gets him paid as long as the company is profitable.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a massive buyout. as long as he can maintain a profitability. What I know the rock boroughs, if they were to inspect the facilities, would have lots of suggestions around investments we could make in upgrading these facilities. Now, we would take a short-term loss. It would cost money. It would eat into our profitability. Perhaps even, over the next 3 years, it would project us to be in the red a little bit. Long-term, ramps up production, lowers costs, and it might get us out of this contract.
Don't forget his pay. Don't forget his pay is guaranteed by the city, not the company.
Right.
Maybe we could look for an at-will clause in his
pay was
contract.
only guaranteed if he kept it profitable.
Yeah. So if he loses, if profit dips, or he's unable to maintain from his negligence, which profit dipping in the long term under that 3 years, if you're working on financial projections anyways, you would be able to slate that out and show where profitability is not going to be maintained if you're adding extra repair and construction cost without changing any of the numbers on any of the mead sales and whatnot. Now, at current, breakup of, or what do they call it? Itemizations, at current itemization and like what things are paid out as. If they don't like raise the price of the mead and such like that, then that's a good point, Jolly Lake, for the long term.
Maybe what he's getting is fair. I don't know.
He initially offered 1 silver, and I assume we're having a conversation as we're traveling.
I'm going to be fully straight up with you. You all caught that he was being honest when he said that was a financial mistake, because that was me, the DM, making a mathematical mistake.
So he's a reasonable manager, doing a good job. Okay.
He doesn't normally pay 1 gold. It's closer to about 5 gold a person a day.
Okay.
Yeah. It's reasonable.
Well, that seems fair.
So he's normally paying 1 gold, or he's normally paying 5 and was trying to get over on us at paying 1?
He normally pays 5 silver a day.
Okay.
He is paying you guys 1 gold.
1 gold.
He misspoke on the 1 silver, and then was like, I gotta overcorrect. This is the error.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, even if he's doing, I assume we're having this conversation on the way and out of earshot of standard.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're having this on the road.
Yeah. My curiosity is piqued, though, that he has such a high value to the city for them to have put him in such a contract. 500 platinum is quite a bit of a payout per year. So say if the business got bought back by the family, or we took back over management as the family this year, they're going to pay him out. He's got a 3-year contract. It's the first year because they just sold it over. They're going to pay him out 500 per year. That's 15. That's, what is that? One more than that. Whatever 3 times 500 is, that's the number I'm going for. 1,500 platinum is how much they would be paying him for the entirety of his 3-year contract. That's a lot of money for the city to have invested in somebody for something so quote unquote trivial as management, when there was other family members capable of management, especially since the mayor is the one that put my cousin in like a promotional position, which leads me even further into my belief that the mayor wants total control, since he came out of not a family. I don't know if I told you guys this or not, but the mayor doesn't come from one of the traditional families that have ruled over Revan in the past as mayor or city council, whatever. Usually it's different. So he's kind of like a no-name Peter Baelish trying to come up his own way. And I feel like there's something with the information that you guys gave about the perpetual platinum payments for the Wyvern Hearts, and investing so much into previous businesses from before, like that's a heavy financial stake in somebody for something so small, if there wasn't some reason why you wanted them to be able to maintain such in the long run. And it's only a 3-year contract. Who knows what happens at the end of the 3 years, regardless, if it just gets handed over to the mayor because people maybe forgot about, whatever before. In the game of politics, you win or you lose. Does any of this make sense, or do I sound like a crackpot dwarf who just thinks everybody's out to get my family?
I think it could go either way.
I'm going to say you sound like a rich person who's worried about their money.
I'm not worried about my money as a personal money as much as I'm worried about securing my family legacy, and also providing business opportunity for a business that is, I'm 1/5. I'm one spoke on a 5-spoke wheel to get our business turning. And when one spoke breaks, the wheel cracks, and other people depend on me. So it's this thought is like, if this is my portion of this comes from Revan, if this is the biggest progress that I can offer in this whole solution is to figure out our stakes in Revan, then it's on me to do so.
Yeah. 100%. I love that. All right. So you are walking off. You said you might want to get in contact with the Rockburrows, but probably not this second. Is that correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't think probably this evening, though.
Yeah. You heading back to the farm then?
Yeah, I think that's where we were traveling to.
Okay. Yeah. Again, about 50 minutes or about 30 to 45 minutes of walking. You make it up to the farm, and you see that your cousins are already about 6 feet deep digging this cellar. And your grandfather is sitting on the porch and has a little pipe in his mouth. And there's a massive pile of ration bars just out on the front lawn.
Good, that means we cleaned out the cellar.
It is easily twice your height. And probably
what would
3 or 4 times your width.
You know what would be good to do with these ration bars, friends, now that I think about it, seeing how many there actually are? We could box them up and donate them to people in need. And we could put the Iron Gut Meadery name on there, but we can also put the trading company as like offer of relief to people who are suffering or in poverty, things of such.
Yeah. Anybody have any ideas on where they would want to donate them?
Well, there's got to be some sort of orphanages or something not religious affiliated that we could give it to, or like townspeople who maybe don't make so much that need an extra bit, or we could carry along, we can donate some in each town for all I care. I don't know. It's just
everyone go ahead and make me whatever check you feel is appropriate to think about somewhere to donate these, and then just let me know what check you made and what your result was. I'd say probably a wisdom or intelligence based one, maybe a charisma.
I would think probably the only thing I could think personally would be another history check, because it'd be like, where could you recall? That would be a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
I agree.
I'd say probably history or insight would be my big two.
I did a 13 insight.
I got a 25 history check.
I've got a
Okay, cool.
19 history.
All right.
13
Reznor?
insight.
And Jillian.
If you're
Did
talking,
Did it post? I don't see it.
it did not.
Okay, let
Oh,
me hit
here,
it
let me
again.
Oh, yeah, it's rolling
It
now.
should have a +7 on it. Let's see. Hopefully it does the +7.
It might be doing that thing where you have to refresh.
If all right,
You
I will try refreshing, but it. Yeah.
I'll roll a d20 and then we can just add your.
If you have
Seven.
physical dice too,
I do
yeah,
actually.
sounds good.
But yeah, only if you, okay, I think I got
21.
right,
14.7 is 21.
All right. So with history checks, the two of you, Coca-Cola and Jolly, both know that there are some orphanages in Breland, just sort of spread throughout. And while they're casually affiliated, most of them, with the Church of the Silver Flame, a lot of them aren't like directly run by it, and they don't receive much support.
Yeah,
And
so
then Jillian, you think back, and the first place your mind goes is the Undercity of Sharn. There's so many people there in need of, safe, healthy food to get to, who, could really use it. And honestly, having a good supply of food would be life-changing for a lot of those people. A lot of people in the Undercity do turn to crime and illegal activities because they can't afford to eat.
Maybe we could send some to Sharn.
I mean, helping people along the way is something, we talked about doing anyway. So if we could find some places that it would benefit to have these things, but I wouldn't see why. I'd be willing to spend my own personal gold to pay for shipping, since we're going to be here a while anyway, if needed. Send some to Sharn and then some to the orphanages, and we can put them in crates from Iron Gut, and also, put the trading company's name on there too. So that while we're helping people, we're also advertising.
Love it. All right. So it sounds like you've come up with a plan there to donate these in multiple places, which is a great way to get a big impact. Spread it out. And yeah, you'll be doing some good for yourselves and doing some good for the populace. Your grandfather at this point does see you walking up and calls you over to introduce your friends to him.
Yeah,
Jillian,
I'll go.
Cola, come and introduce your compatriots.
I'll bring in the orange, and I'll say, well, these are my friends who are
I did
adult.
forget about that. You did note you did get about halfway to the orange stall when you remembered her saying yesterday that that was her last bag.
That's right.
She
That's
needed
right.
to restock.
All right, so I don't give him the orange, but I will just say, yeah, these are my friends, and they're big kids. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Name's Zenlin.
Pleasure.
Reznor will just smile big and give a thumbs up and say, Reznor.
I heard tell of you. That's for certain. The Wyvern Slayer, yes.
He's going to puff his chest out. Yes.
And then Jillian and Nicola I already know, so you must be... Oh, what was your name? Don't tell me. I'll remember. Happy.
Wrong
Yes.
fairy tale, Gramps.
So close. So close. So close. I feel like you look familiar. Is it possible that I saw you on the lightning rail out of Sharn going north? Did you take a vacation?
Gods no. Gods no.
Oh, you wouldn't do that, huh?
I'd never step foot on one of those infernal contraptions.
Well, elemental. They get, elemental, not infernal. Common mistake.
The only plane I need is the one with firm, solid ground under my feet.
That is, I like your style. I see where Coca-Cola gets it. Everything I like about Coca-Cola, I'm seeing it just emanating and resonating off of you. It is a true pleasure. My name is Jolly.
Jolly. It is a pleasure.
And happy, common mistake. I'm not sure I'm happy, but I am jolly.
Oh, damn. Jesus. I was not prepared for that. You see his face drop a little, Sometimes I'm not sure I'm happy either.
Yeah.
But I am here. Come in. They came by and stocked the larder while you were out, and I've got a pot heated up on the stove with water in it.
Yeah, I'll make some stew and things while we relax for the evening, and you get to know my friends a little. They're great. They're great friends, Gramps. You're really gonna like them a lot, I think. Personally, I like them, so I think you should and will too.
All right. Well, yes. Go ahead and just give me. You don't have proficiency in like chef's tools or cooking tools or anything, right?
I do not. I've got Mason Smith, Thieves, and Tinkers.
All right. Cool. What kind? Do you think Coca-Cola cooks with her heart? Do you think she cooks based off what she knows about cooking?
I
Or
think
do you
she
think she
knows
just uses
how to-
common sense?
I think she only knows how to cook one thing because she grew up in a fairly well-off family and didn't have to do those sort of things because she wasn't given the feminine domestic role in the household because her dad is like Mr. Mom. But I think she would know how to make a rendition at least of the stew that her grandma used to make that her dad also makes because it's like a traditional family comfort food. It would be like salt pork, carrots, potatoes, some seasonings, a little bit of flour to thicken it up some, make a kind of gravy in there, whatever, that kind of stuff. Just basic ingredients.
You know what? We'll call that cooking with your heart. Give me a DC 10 charisma check.
Coca-Cola, you got this. You can do it. Remember, butter and salt. Everyone lies in the recipe. There's always more butter and salt than is on the paper. You got this. I believe in you. Take an inspiration.
And you know what? I'll say since this is an old dwarven recipe, your new bonus towards charisma checks with dwarves applies to it.
Oh, okay. So let me just re-roll that one instead. That's a little bit better. That's a 15 with my bonus on there.
Hey, 15. That's 5 over the DC. This is a pretty good stew. You despite using the exact same ingredients as your father and grandmother did, you still managed to put your own little flair on it somehow, and it doesn't make your grandfather sad to eat it for the first time in 5 years.
It's the secret ingredient. See, my dad uses Iron Gut, but don't tell my grandpa that I like to use just regular hoppy ale because the honey just brings down the salt from the pork. But shh, don't tell anybody.
All right. But yeah, Coca-Cola makes a nice stew. What are the rest of you up to while Coca-Cola's cooking? Jolly, you're there giving advice, at least for a minute.
Encouragement.
Yeah, encouragement. My cat is now chewing on the corner of my laptop. You need to stop that.
After that, I'm going to go and tell the tale of Reznor the Wyvern Slayer to everyone who will listen. And I will take any little details that I've heard and I will embellish them and stretch them to the point of near ridiculousness.
Sure. Go ahead. Coca-Cola, take inspiration for the stew, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was very nice. I liked that use of the family recipe. Go ahead and make me a performance check. And I'm going to say, Reznor, do you get involved in the telling of this story at all?
So this farm, how close is the farm to like any wooded area?
Not far at all. You could probably get out into the woods in like a good 30 seconds at a full sprint.
So Reznor is actually kind of gonna slip away a bit and go into the woods, and I actually want to look for any signs of other like shifters, kind of like a large grouping of them.
Okay, yeah. Give me a survival check with advantage. Oh, she does not want to be put down.
24.
24? Yeah, you're sniffing around and not too far out into the woods, but probably about 10-15 minutes walk. You do come across some claw marks that are reminiscent of those that used to be left by members of your tribe, scratched into the trees. Give me just an intelligence check or a wisdom check to decipher these.
Intelligence. Clicked the wrong thing. 17.
17? Yeah, these are markings that mark a protected area. Essentially saying, do not hunt here. They point in the direction of Grandfather Irongut's place.
Gotcha. All right, with that, Reznor's going to leave his own.
There are definitely signs of shifters here.
Reznor's going to leave his own little claw marks, basically saying the same thing, but protected by Reznor.
Okay, yeah.
And then walk back.
You use your claws to carve into one of the trees, the protected area sigil, and then your own personal sigil next to it as well. Yeah, you walk back to the farm. Zenlin, what are you getting up to? Why are you so angry?
Zenlin is likely off on his own. He is having a flare-up and like coughing and not feeling good. That scent did not help with his weaker respiratory system, and he's also kind of having an anxiety attack at the concept of working as a dock worker with a 7 strength.
Yeah,
he's like, there's no way I can move 100 boxes a day. It's definitely not happening.
You will be making you'll definitely be making an athletics check to make your quota.
But yeah, like that kind of like the anxiety mixed with the steam and everything from earlier is just compounding all of his issues tonight, and he is not. He's, like I said, probably like off on his own, trying to lay down and calm himself down very poorly.
Yeah, just give me a charisma check. Or not charisma, constitution. And we'll actually say constitution save.
Yeah, that's a 5. Zenlin is like hacking up along like
Yeah,
it's a very bad day.
I'm gonna say anyone who isn't like actively off the farm or indoors, so Jolly and Jillian, you can both hear Zenlin like dying, essentially, is what it sounds like. This is a deep and bloody cough.
Well, Jillian would want to go over to Zenlin and make sure he's okay, and just try not to look like she's giving him a medical once over, but just sort of like say, "Hey, how are they doing?"
Yeah, I'll say give me a medicine check, and then since you're trying to disguise it, you can either make it at disadvantage or give me a DC 12 sleight of hand.
Okay.
Or deception.
Okay. She does have a +7 on medicine. I don't know if that rolled. I clicked the button, but it didn't go. And then deception. Is she even a deceiver? She's got a -1 on deception. Did that roll?
No, I'm not seeing anything here. Yeah.
I'm seeing the roll. I'm not seeing the.
Oh, there we go. It's rolling.
I do have real dice.
Yeah, just you can just use your real dice and tell me totals. You don't have to use D&D Beyond, and that goes for everybody. It's convenient, sure, but I don't require it.
Oh dear. I got a 4 on medicine, so that would be 11. And then deception. 17. So that would be 16 total on deception.
Yeah. So did you make that initial medicine check with disadvantage? Because you didn't need to with that deception.
Oh, okay.
You did?
I don't know. I don't remember what my first roll was with the.
Tell you, just roll one more. We'll call that it. Say you didn't make the medicine check yet. I should have called for them in a different order. That's on me.
Right. 10 plus 7, so 17.
17? All right. Yeah, you give Zenlin a quick little once over here. Zenlin is very obviously ill, but it doesn't seem like this is anything new. It seems like this is probably a lifetime thing for them. And Zenlin, if there's anything else you want to share with Jillian about your condition, feel free. I'd say on a 17, she doesn't know any of the like esoteric lore around it, but
yeah,
she'd be able to tell like what's going on with you physically, at least.
Yeah, and if she like walks up and is like, "Hey, are you okay?" He'll like try to compose himself poorly. He'll like, wipe the little dribble of blood that came up when he was coughing off of his face before he turns around and gives what is obviously like, when someone feels terrible but they like force a smile anyways, and you can tell that like they're barely getting the smile on their face, and he's just like, "Yeah, I mean, I've had it for a while. It's just sometimes bad air, bad night. Not exactly a physical specimen, if you haven't noticed."
Jillian, if you want to try to alleviate this without any magic or anything, I'll let you make another medicine check to do so. The DC on this is going to be 20, though.
Okay. Okay, I got 12. 12 plus 7.
19. So yeah, I'm gonna say you're not alleviating all the symptoms, but you're able to help Zenlin get a little more comfortable. And if you'd like to describe how you do that, that's fine with me.
She would say, "Hey, do you want? You know, I'm not. I'm also a little bit worried about meeting the quota of 100 cases, and let's just try to help each other out, and maybe we can find some gnomes that can let us borrow some equipment or something that can help us. And you know what? Here's a cushion. Let's sit over on the couch over here and just rest up because we're going to need all our strength for tomorrow."
That sounds nice. Thank you.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So Jolly, you're telling your tales. Why don't you go ahead and give me a performance check for that?
I definitely did, and it was definitely an 8.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oof. I'm gonna say with that, you're you're telling a very good story, but it's so over the top with the description of what Resnor's done that everyone's like, yeah, cool story. But you're presenting it a little bit as though it's fact, and everyone's kind of calling bullshit in the back of their head.
See, now I see that they're calling. I see that they're not buying it, and that's when I call them out for seeing that not buying it, and I say, "This is why we're going to have to kill wyverns in this town, because I see you don't believe us."
Oh, we believe he's killed a wyvern or two. He just, you make him sound like he's the hero of the age for it, and well, he's just another man.
We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell, won't it? Time will tell.
I suppose you're right. Time will tell. You make him sound like some sort of giant warrior. I mean, he's a bit big, but he's not that big. Well, it's a good tale nonetheless. Thank you for the telling. And then stew is ready.
Yeah, I'll serve everybody up a bowl. I made some nice crusty bread to go with it too while I was at it. Probably a sourdough because it's just easy for the most part.
Yeah.
And I'll
Nice.
get everybody some and put the seasonings. I made sure whenever we got the stuff from the larder that there was like one of those round seasoning trays that's got like pepper, salt, paprika, chili powder, garlic, all that kind of stuff. I'll make sure that's out. And there was probably some butter that came in.
Yeah, and you specifically made sure you bought some of your grandmother's spice mix too, if I remember correctly. So yeah,
that was
100%. Yeah. So yeah, you take a look at the table, realize might be a little small for 10 people. But there's enough miscellaneous chairs and couches scattered around that everyone can find somewhere to sit. They just might have to hold their bowl while they eat.
Yeah. I probably would stand just to be like a good host, since it is my family's place, to let my friends and whatnot have a sit. And I'll say rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, Haley.
All right. And everyone begins to dig in. There's plenty of, chatter. Jolly, you notice about, 15 minutes into the meal, one of the cousins that was out digging who didn't hear your story is being retold it, even more exaggerated by the other one.
And I nod along and I say, yep, that's, yeah, basically. It's true.
And he appears to fully believe it. And the one who called you out for being too over the top kind of gives you a look and is like, oh, maybe, okay, maybe. I guess we'll see, huh?
We will see. Reznor, he's got this. I believe in him. He can do it. I know he can.
Yeah. Zenlin, this nice hot stew with its light brothy steam honestly feels great going down. Soothes your throat, soothes your lungs. It's not, you're not back to 100%, but you've never been at 100%.
Yeah. We're operating at a good 60 right now after the stew.
Yeah. And Huli, you look out over this crowd of your, or Kokola, you look out over this crowd of your friends and family eating a lovely stew that you made, and everyone's happy. Your grandfather is barely saying anything, just looking around at all the company his house is filled with. He's gone back for 3 bowls already, finally eating something other than the rations. And he is beaming.
That makes me happy, but I'm not going to point it out to him because I don't want him to feel any kind of way from it.
Yeah. And it's hard when your happiness gets noticed sometimes and someone points it out. It makes you feel performative almost. Or it feels like you're expected to continue to be happy. That's very I think that's great. I think that's great that Huli's just accepting of his joy.
Yeah, like there's no reason for her not to be. Yeah, she's just happy that he's happy, right? Like he was always good to her growing up, not so hard on her the way that her mom kind of was, and going through like having somebody leave that he dedicated his whole life to and being just on the farm by himself. Like he deserves a moment of, even if it's a sense of like false happiness because it's not going to be this way forever. We're only around for a little bit. Like it still gives him some happiness while he's like pushing towards the end of his days, like give him some good memories to go out with or whatever. So when he's committed back to the stone sings, of happy memories instead of sorrow, right?
Yeah, 100%. And then Reznor, what's on your mind? I'll say when you come back, you traveled with Zenlin enough to notice the signs of when he's just had an attack of his illness. So yeah, you notice that, but overall everyone seems pretty happy. Jillian's kind of alongside him and looks like she's been taking care of him. What are you doing when you get back?
Once he sees Zenlin's like okay, and that he's got someone, he's gonna kind of focus on the fact that he knows there's more shifters around now. He's not gonna say anything to anybody, but it's definitely something he's gonna want to look into.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. And as this lovely meal draws to a close, is there anything anyone would like to do while the whole group is gathered here? I'll say actually, as the meal draws to a close, Kokola, you all hear a knock at the door, and you hear your cousin's voice calling out from the other side. Hello, can I come in?
My lady cousin?
Yes, the one you spoke to.
I'll definitely get up and open the door so that, the boys have been working all day and my friends are guests. So I'll do that and go open the door and let her in.
Yeah. Oh, Kokola, you're here already. So nice. It's good to see you. Everything went smoothly at market and everything?
Yeah, and we stopped by the brewery before we came out. I'll have a talk with you about that. We'll talk shoulder to shoulder shortly after you check in with everybody and such.
Oh, yes. Is that grandmother's stew I smell?
Yeah,
Is
do you
she
want some?
here?
No, she's not. I made it because Dad makes it all the time too, right? So I made some.
Oh, well, it smells lovely. Yes, I'd love a bowl.
Yeah, I'll get her a bowl and some cheese and some bread and whatnot.
Yeah, and she kind of goes off into the like she's over in the edge of the room. There's not much space here. What with it being 2 cellars, 2 bedrooms, and a living
Yeah,
room
right.
that's used for everything.
Yeah, it's pretty small, but I mean, we grew
Yeah.
up around here, so it's not like we're not used to it.
Yeah, you're used to packing twice as many people in here back when the extended clan was still a thing. Back when your grandparents would bring in their favorite group of workers every week for a meal, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, she moves off to a corner, and you have a chance while she's sitting here with the stew to have a little bit of privacy and talk as well.
Yeah, I'll just say lowly to her in Dwarvish, even though part of the people in the Iron Guts in the room would understand if they were eavesdropping. But I'll just tell her, the gist of it, that I spoke to the manager and she's not going to be stuck doing some bullshit promotion job, that she's going to be stepping up for other things. I'll mention the paperwork or whatever as well.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you. In town barely a day, and you're already changing things for the better.
Well, I mean, you grew up here working hard. You deserve that, right? Like, it's your family too. You deserve something out of it, like instead of just being a face to say, oh, we have an iron gut in the office, right? Like you'll actually have something to do. And who better to assess risk management than somebody who grew up running around the stills and the kettles to know how to keep people safe.
Thank you, Kokola. It's nice to hear that. And I hope to live up to your faith in me there.
Yeah, thanks for coming to visit. Grandpa's probably happy to have so many people at the place at once. You should stop by more often.
I will. I will. I overheard in town that you and your friends have plans to open a business and solve all sorts of problems. And that, I mean, you told me this, but the fact that other people are already speaking of it, it's wow. That's some talent there. The news is spreading quickly.
Small town vibes. Everybody grew up around here, so when somebody new comes in, the rest of the town makes it their business to know everything they can about them. You work in marketing. You understand proper marketing tactics.
Coca-Cola, my only marketing tactic is to go to the one bar in town and stand there and be a bartender.
Well, if you were in a place other than Revan, you would be successful in your marketing tactics. No. I'm just gonna pat him on the shoulder and give him a look like, hey, I'm trying, man. Like, I'm just trying to compliment you.
I appreciate the compliment, as untrue as it may be. The meaning is not lost.
Yeah. News travels fast when new things happen. Everybody knows everybody's business here, and who's snogging who behind the tavern at night when their wife's at home with their children and such. Like, everybody knows other things about people, so I'm sure it was.
You already heard about Litha?
I was being definitely facetious in that moment, but good to know.
Yes. Well, well, if you hadn't heard, so Luther, he's, you know, there's got to be a few humans in every city, right? And
Mm,
well, there's a reason that all the other halves are human. You know what I mean?
yes, yes, I do know what you mean. Say, what brings you by, anyways? Did you just come by to have dinner with us, or
Well, you
just
brought
wanted to
up that
check? Or what?
you brought up that grandfather was feeling lonely, and you know,
Yeah, I'm
I knew
glad you came.
you'd be here, but I felt a little derelict in my duty as a granddaughter.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you said it right, not me, but that's fair. I'm glad you came by. You know, we should do
I,
a thing. You know, we did say at the meadery everybody gets 1 day a week off. Maybe we could all take the same day a week off and have supper. Everybody can bring something from home, a passing dish, and we can have what did they call that back home? A kettle luck or whatever kind of dinner.
hmm, that sounds quite nice. And the day off at the meadery is the same for everyone, actually.
Oh,
Mayor Brightfoot outlawed alcohol production on Sundays.
oh, Mayor Brightfoot. Yeah, he's he definitely has come up a lot through the grapevine, so to speak, around town. What do you know of the mayor? And I'm not talking about like, oh, he's a good mayor and everybody likes him and he won the election and he's a nobody that came from somewhere. Like, what kind of things do you know about the mayor?
I mean, from what I've heard, he's a very genuine man. You know, he does what he does because he thinks it's what's best for everyone. I had the pleasure of speaking to him when he was out campaigning, and just the only thing that I can really sum it up as is he seems to be a very good man with very bright ideas.
That sounds like a campaign slogan. Do you know what they say about politicians in Sharn?
No,
Politicians are like dwarfling diapers. I'm sure you can finish the rest, right?
they're all full of shit.
Yes, and they smell awful. And I
I
just
mean,
don't really,
I don't know.
I
He
don't know.
smelled quite nice. He was floral almost, but sorry, not the point.
I'm just gonna shake my head. Well, yeah, I don't mean like physically smell awful. I just mean something just you just people just aren't that nice, especially when you don't come from old blood. So I don't know. Well, I'm glad everybody likes him, so that's good at least.
Oh, not everybody.
Oh,
The Rockboroughs moved out of town when he got elected. He
did
was out,
they?
yeah, in protest. Didn't think it was right.
Didn't think it was right. Why?
Here comes someone who's only lived in the city for what, 3 years, and they think they know everything and can be in charge. That was what was going around anyway. I don't have much business with them personally, so I can't say I've heard their part in it, but that's the word around town.
That's quite interesting.
Of course,
Do you know where the Rockboroughs moved to? Like, everybody says that they've moved outside of town. They were suggested to us to hire for construction as well whenever we purchase a building and such. But
they're down at the mount on the eastern side of the mountain at the foot. They've built a bit of a complex there. Looks like rabbits in a warren almost.
and what do you know about them? I haven't been around in quite some time to really remember much. But do you know like what the head of their family's favorite year of private select is existing or
Oh,
anything
yeah,
like that?
yes. Monty Rockborough. And actually, I think this is what I really think is why they moved out. Monty ran for election for mayor in the previous election to that of Brightfoot, and was defeated horribly. Not a member of one of the large families, but a well-established family here in town. And then 7 years later, this newcomer comes in and gets elected in a landslide. I think he's just bitter.
It
But
was
he
a
likes.
landslide.
What was
Oh,
that?
interesting. You said he won in a landslide.
Oh yeah, it was like 80, 82, 30, or 82, 20, 28, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I know the whole Rockborough clan voted against him, and I know, well, Druar over there, and she points at one of her brothers, one of your cousins, just decided not to vote because he didn't want to, vote for the other candidate, but didn't think an outsider was the right choice either. But no, a lot of people voted for him. He inspires you. He makes you think that we don't have to throw the traditions away, but we could add on to them and make them better,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm surprised he's so hands-on. Usually there are people assigned to do things like that, and mayors don't really end up being as involved with things, especially the running of businesses, because it was my understanding that the mayor is the one who came up with the promotional position at the brewery.
I hadn't heard that, actually. I just, came into work one day and was told that we weren't going to be developing new flavors or anything anymore. We had a recipe that worked well, so I was going to be reassigned to a new position.
Yeah, Greer. We spoke with Greer this afternoon. My friend Jolly here is going to be doing some financial advising at the brewery. He's going to be up in the office. He'll be up there with you, since you'll be up there working with Greer on some projects, and then Zenlin, Reznor, Jillian, and we're going to be at the docks, helping out down there.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're integrating into town very quickly. I hope you stay for a while.
We'll be here for a little while.
Good to have you around. And she, you settle in for a little bit more conversation. She finishes her stew, and the sun begins to set as it hits the horizon. All three of your cousins say that they'd better get going. They've still got to trek back into town for the night. And your grandfather mentions to you that he went over and spoke to the mayor earlier and set up a breakfast time meeting for the 7 of you.
Okay, cool.
Him, the mayor, and your group of 5.
Yep. Are they coming here, or are we going there? Or is the mayor coming here, or are we going there?
I think we'll be going to his house. It's a bit better arranged right now. Maybe once we've got things more in order here, we could invite him back and treat him.
Could wake up a little earlier than I normally do to make sure that I could get some breakfast done for everybody.
Oh no, you'll be quite fine. Okay. I believe he has someone who does that for him. So.
Yeah, so it's evening time. We're probably going to bed down. It's getting towards the end of the night. One thing I will specifically make sure to do before going to bed, because I am extremely untrustworthy of things right in this moment, I'm going to ward the whole house.
Yeah.
Since it's a small house, I'm just going to put up a ward, an alarm spell. I mean, I think it only... How much does it cover? Oh, it's only a 20-foot cube, but I will ward.
I'll say with it being a family residence and with the familial connection. When your parents got married, someone from House Kundarak came out and placed like warding spots so you can anchor an alarm spell to cover the entire house.
Yep, so that's what I'll do. I'll anchor to those runes in the doors and make sure that the house is locked up.
All right. Yeah, you anchor the ward. House is completely locked up, and you all bed down for the night. And that is where we're going to end our stream. Thank you for joining us. This has been Gilded Destinies on Heroes and Hooligans. With me, I've got Zenlin. Don, anything you want to say to the people?
No. Thanks for coming. Lots of fun tonight. Lots of intrigue that we'll see what's going on.
Yeah. We've got Reznor. Anything you want to say to the people?
No, just thanks for watching, and Resnor's the best.
All right. Anything from Jillian?
Thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a lot of fun tonight.
All right. Jolly?
Thanks for watching, and Resnor's the best.
Hey,
All righty. Coca-Cola.
Hey, yeah. So I got an announcement, but I'll do it after you say whatever you're gonna say, Chip, and I'll roll us out from there.
Oh, all I've got is that I'm Chipper. I've been your DM for tonight. It's been a wonderful time, and Resnor's the best.
Yeah. Got it. All right. So, hey, we've been off on Monday nights for the whole month of October, but we will be coming back this coming Monday, November, whatever day it is. We will be back with our Monday group. We're going into the culmination of their last several weeks in the area that they've been in. They're going into kind of a big battle. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting. They've all been told to roll out backup characters. We'll see how this goes. So come and join us on Monday. We are 7:30 Central on Monday nights, right here on our same Twitch channel, and we'll see everybody hopefully then, if not next week. And on that, I'm gonna do music things. Bye.